Hi, Dennis Hall with LearningTemplates.com. I'd like to introduce you to the user management aspect of our new extended Enterprise LMS for WordPress. This is a extended enterprise-based LMS, meaning that it is not only able to manage your users within your organization, it can also manage any users that you enter into the system from other organizations, allowing you to directly resell your courses to other organizations. At the same time as well, you can also manage resellers, resellers of your courses. So for example, you might have a particular course that you might be assigning the ability to resell a course to a individual person who has 20 people that they might want to sell that they might want to have use the course, and those people would pay that person for taking the course, and then in turn you would get royalties off that or whatever it be. Let's go ahead and let's take a look at how to create and manage your organizational structures. So the first thing you ever want to do is add roles into the system. Adding roles into the system will allow people will allow you to assign capabilities to each of those roles. Later when they're added in, you'll also be able to delete the roles. After you add the roles into the system, then you will upload users, and these can be from all kinds of different organizations. You can also manually add users into the system through the WordPress standard users profiles. Once you've added users, you would then have organizations. In this particular case, I have two people that are in the system. We are both WordPress site administrators, and you'll notice when I hover over, you'll see that they highlight blue, indicating that I am able to manage those users. And we'll get into that in a little bit. So the first thing we want to do, as I was mentioning, is focus on uploading roles and assigning those roles capabilities if need be. So let's go ahead and let's take a look at the CSV files used to upload these. Up top I have a file that I've downloaded called roles CSV. I've downloaded the template file from here, the sample file from here. There are currently roles in the system. These are default WordPress roles. They're already created in WordPress. And you could use them if you wanted, or you can add your own custom roles for your company. Where that becomes quite important, I believe, is when you do have custom requirements that you want to apply to people that maintain those roles. At the same time, you might also have roles in a different language, where you can create roles in multiple languages just simply by adding them into the CSV file. Once those roles are created, you would then create your people that would populate the organizations and be assigned the roles. The relationship between the people and the roles are in the name of the role. So if a role has a name CEO1, then a person will populate that role. That will give them the capabilities that you allow that person to have. Once you've uploaded them, you can then assign those capabilities, such as the ability to manage subordinates. If they can't manage subordinates, they can't manage the people in their own organization. So you might be a CEO, but maybe the CEO, the LMS administrator may not want the CEO to have the ability to modify users, but he might want the CEO to manage reports, meaning run reports, create reports, that sort of thing. Or the CEO may have only a student ability. So let's go ahead and let's move forward on this. So here we have the roles. So I've got these roles here all created. So let's go ahead and let's exit this and save this. And let's go ahead and upload this into the learning management system. So that was called roles CSV. It was on my desktop, and let's go ahead and upload that. So now we've uploaded the roles, and we get confirmations here, and once the confirmations are there, we can then assign these people those abilities. So for example, a student is not going to manage subordinates, or is he? Maybe he won't. A client, in this case it's the external reseller client, so this person is probably going to manage subordinates. His subordinate would be the student, and we can see that relationship here in the CSV file, where client 1 has the role of a client, is managed by my user D Hall, and there's always going to be a WordPress administrative user at the top of the organizational chart, because even within WordPress I might want to not have one administrator manage the organization of another administrator. No matter what, this person has the role of a client, and this person also has one client underneath them, as this person's user ID is client 1, and client 1 happens to be the person who manages student 1. So let's, using that example, let's go ahead and let's just upload this file. So here we go. We've uploaded our roles. Let's go to users, and that file that you just saw, I downloaded the template from here. Download a sample file. Now I'm going to choose that file. It's going to be users.csv, and you can name the file anything you wish, by the way. I'm now going to upload the users. Now that I've uploaded the users, you can see here that the confirmation that everything has been successfully uploaded. And now let's take a look at our organizational chart. So here we have a CEO of one organization who is capable of managing all those people below him. And then we have the second organization here who's capable of managing all the people below him. You'll notice Dennis Hall has an arrow going off to the right here, a line. And that's because he has the second organization here as well. Now if I didn't want to do that, I could create a third administrative user who would then manage that organization. So I might have 3 WordPress administrators, one that might manage everybody in organizational 2, including the organization itself, meaning to be able to disable the organization completely. And then I've got myself managing organization 1 as well as resellers in this case. Now what's interesting about this is if I go to here to CEO 1 of organizational 1, then I can edit that user, no problem. Now what I'd like to point out is that when I go to all users, you will end up I end up seeing all the users that I've just uploaded into the system and all of their roles, etc. Because I'm an administrative user. But let's go ahead and let's log out as my user, and let's log in as CEO1. I've made all the passwords default password. So now if we look at CEO1, let's go ahead and take a look at the organizational chart of CEO1 now that he's logged in. You'll notice he's incapable of managing anybody outside his organization. You'll also notice that as far as roles are concerned, CEO1 is capable of managing roles. So he can uncheck the student, he can also uncheck employees to manage subordinates, and then he can basically have that. Edit courses, he might have department heads or managers or supervisors creating courses, and these would be global settings. He can then later go and turn them on or off for individual people, but this is a global setting. So he might also want, CEO1 might also want to have all the management related people to be able to manage reports in the system. And if he had a specific, let's say a role added called trainer, he could basically have his instructor. If there were any roles that he didn't like, he could simply click the delete buttons to delete them. So again, here's his organizational structure, and if we go to the WordPress users, you're going to see that that extensive list of users is only this long now. They're only his people. So let's go ahead and log out, and we'll log in as Client 1. Client 1 was the reseller. So when we log in as Client 1, we now end up going to the users and organizations, and you'll see that there's only himself and that one student. And he can edit that student again. And if we go to, if we take a look here, Client 1 now doesn't have the ability, or Client 1 only sees himself and the student, so anybody under him. So here we're managing the organizational structure of the system. Let's go ahead and log out. We'll log back in as my user. And again, we're going to end up being able to see all of the users in all the organizations. Thanks for your time.